Yo, what up? Welcome, Redzone In the Lab podcast. Today, we're going to be talking to Scorpion to get some background information on Kliff Kingsbury time in Arizona. We also gonna have Whitt. He's going to join us to talk about Jason Simmons, who we just hired from the Oakland Raiders. So I'm kind of excited to get a little insight on those two guys. And yes, we still doing our Dan Quinn hat backwards. It's kind of crooked. There you go. I think that's good. I don't know. And then I'm gonna talk about we had some more coaching hires. I'm gonna talk a little bit about our coaching hires, and we're also going to talk about that number 2 pick from what we saw in the playoffs and in the Super Bowl. You know, there's a lot going on about our number 2 pick. Should we go left tackle? Should we trade down? Should we take a quarterback? Blah blah blah. So I'm gonna get into that. I'm gonna give my thoughts about that number 2 pick. But on the other side of this, we're going to get into it, and we are going to bring on Scorpion. He's going to tell us a little bit about Kliff Kingsbury right after this.
Shout out Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Hey, what up, y'all? It's Benjamin St. Jude, DB for the Washington Commanders. I want to give a big shout out to Redzone In the Lab podcast.
Welcome back. It's Redzone In the Lab podcast. I am Deuce, and joining us today, Scorpion. What's good, man? How you doing, man?
I'm doing well. How you doing?
Good, man. Met Scorpion, of course, on Twitter Spaces. He had me fooled because we had this Commanders chat, and I thought he was a Commanders fan.
I like ball. I just like watching football, man.
So what's good, man? How you been? How your New Year's? But first, you know, I was thinking about the Super Bowl. Give me your take on the Super Bowl, man.
And it was like 7 fumbles in that game, I think. No one could hold on to the ball. The Chiefs only went for it on 4th down once. They could have gone for it so much more. And if people get catch and didn't fumble, that game could have been a shootout on both sides.
What do you think went wrong for the 49ers?
Brock Purdy missed 2 schemed open touchdowns that cost them. Like, there were 2 plays where I think off a play action, they had someone streaking down the seam open, and he threw him to the back of the end zone. And you just can't miss open touchdowns that much, too. And that last 2-minute drill, they kept playing soft coverage, and they just let the Chiefs get down the field trying to not give up a touchdown. But,
that was crazy.
yeah, you can't play 5 deep coverage against Mahomes and expect him to run out of time. It's not going to work.
Are you ready to call Mahomes the GOAT yet?
I'm pretty close. Hey, man. Yeah. He's the best. I don't know if he's the most accomplished, but I think he's the best.
Yeah, I think that's a good when you're talking about them too, how you can kind of distinguish it as most accomplished versus just straight out football player, because we know he's way better than what Brady was his first 4 or 5 years in the league for sure. And just to see him, man, like to see this in real time. But the thing is, you know, can he put together 4 more? You know, that's the question. That's a long way to go, man.
Yeah, especially since Chris Jones and Travis Kelce getting up there in age, they're gonna have to do some retooling.
Yeah, for sure. All right, let's talk about Kliff Kingsbury, right? He comes to Arizona. I was upset about the hire. I didn't think he deserved that job. He wasn't successful in college. The initial rumor was Kyler Murray was the reason why he was going. You know, they gave him the job. He's going to pick him. But they went through this whole hoopla with Josh Rosen. He's my quarterback. This and that. All that went down. But what was the reading in the room when they first brought on Kingsbury to Arizona?
From what I remember, they got Kliff Kingsbury, and immediately people were questioning, like, because like he didn't have the most consistent winning in college. You know, like he'd have some ups, have some downs. But can't be the goat. Brady beat him in the Super Bowl. Okay. But he had some ups and some downs in college. So people were questioning if he would like actually be a good NFL head coach. But some people also said that his biggest problem in college was that he couldn't recruit very well. And in the NFL, you don't have to recruit. So, it was like a 50-50 on how well it will work out.
He gets to Arizona. The trade happened. They send Josh Rosen off. Kyler Murray is playing this little game about baseball and football. I think he's drafted. He drafted number 1 or number 3 in MLB. Was it 1 or 3? I think it was either 1 or 3. And of course, he went number 1 to Arizona. So the first year, right? What offense did Kliff bring to the Cardinals?
He had a decent amount of it was a lot of spread stuff, but it was a lot of throwing outside the numbers and throwing short and trying to let guys do run after catch, hacking the boundary, because Kyler's pretty good at throwing boundary passes, and they still had Larry Fitzgerald at the time, who was very sure-handed, if nothing else. So they attacked the outside, tried to spread teams out horizontally, and that made it easier to run up the middle. And they had a zone-based run-in, so they just needed guys that could move in space in the O-line. Try not to prioritize having a big mauler, more guys that can do double teams and then get to the second level.
So when we talk about that offense, especially the first year, did you expect a pass-happy offense, being as though you coming in with the rookie quarterback, rookie head coach? Team wasn't very successful. What did you see that offense before it even got started?
Kliff was going to have a lot of passion. We knew that was going to happen. Yeah, he spent his number 1 pick on the guy that he wanted to recruit in college anyway, but he didn't. He went to a different school because recruiting battles. But he got his guy. We knew he was going to pass the ball a lot. We saw that.
Tell us a little bit about that scheme the first year, because it seemed like it. I don't know if it changed, but the numbers change, and it could be because of Kyler or getting hurt or whatever the case may be. But that first year, what was successful and unsuccessful about that offense?
Successful was the first year. It was just a lot of Kyler wasn't at his best either, because first year in the offense type stuff, but he was really accurate. So they tried to lean in that and have guys that can make contested catches. But if guys weren't winning their one-on-ones, it got rough. It got rough.
What do you mean?
Because he didn't the offense didn't target the middle of the field a lot. So if guys weren't winning their one-on-one matchups on the boundary, he didn't really have anywhere to go with the ball, and they hadn't used him as a runner as much in his rookie season. They didn't really tap into that until his second and third year.
Okay, that's interesting. So when we think about his route concepts, the branches that he uses on the route tree, the first year it was mostly targeting outside of the numbers and not so much in the middle of the field.
And part of that might have been because Kyler wasn't good at reading the middle of the field. So yeah, he's shorter, so it's hard to see over tall offensive linemen. That's just the thing you'll have to deal with.
Yeah, that's very concerning. All right, going into year 2, and what type of changes after a year in the offense? They're growing together. What type of changes did they make in that second year?
Year 2, that's not the D-Hop year, right? No. D-Hop was year 3, right?
Year 3. I think 2 was the MVP year, right?
No, he had D-Hop that year. Yeah. So he had D-Hop. Yep. The main thing that changed, this is something they already did, but they love doing 3-by-1 sets where they'll put 3 guys on one side and have an isolated receiver. And if you leave D-Hop one-on-one, they just have an alert. If it's an alert streak or alert out route or something, where he'll just ignore the concept on the other side of the field and say, I can place this ball where it needs to be, and D-Hop can catch it, and your quarterback isn't good enough to stop it. When he gets his number 1 receiver and a quarterback that is accurate enough, they can just spam isolated streaks and out routes all day.
Yeah. How do you feel about that, though?
It works. It's really rough when we saw when D-Hop got hurt or suspended.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't adjust properly without him. He was trying to throw jump balls to Hollywood Brown.
Yeah.
Man. And he was trying to throw AJ Green. So his passing concepts on the strong side of formation outside of the ISO, he used the ISO receiver as a bailout a lot of times. And it worked because they're both really good at football. It's kind of like we talked about Brown this year, where if nothing else, just throw it to AJ, he can win his one-on-one.
But is that more so because of Kliff not forcing or instructing him, hey, we have to work on this strong side concept and not just focus so much on one-on-ones? Or was that Kyler being comfortable and going with one-on-ones because it's easier to read?
I think that's just the off. I think he was coaching them. Hey, if you have the one-on-one with D Hop and you can throw it with his leverage, throw it with his leverage, because it was working at a ridiculous rate for like the first 10 weeks of the season.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah, it was crazy. But then he got hurt, right?
Yeah, he got hurt, and they had AJ Green, who was like 32 at the time.
Yeah.
And that's when they lost to the Packers because he couldn't catch the ball on the boundary on the back. Yeah, but that's just how the offense is installed.
Yeah, and that's all right, so we go through that. We go through that year. We go through the year. Kyler gets hurt. A lot of times we hear about Kliff is, him using those 3x1s or those 3x2s, like having the majority of wide receivers. But then they brought in Zach Ertz, and you begin to see another addition to that offense, or Kyler digging in, pulling out tight end concepts. What did you see different when they brought in Zach Ertz compared to when they didn't have like a bona fide number one tight end?
It gave a safety net when like teams started rotating coverage towards D-Hop, obviously, right? So he didn't have a consistent second pass catcher because Christian Kirk varied wildly from week to week. But Zach Ertz is consistent if nothing else. Like he was fringe top 10 tight end level in terms of just pass catching. So like if Kyler could buy time, which he oftentimes could, he could just find Zach Ertz in the middle of the field eventually, and Zach Ertz would catch it most of the time.
So do you have faith in Kliff scheming wide receivers open, or are you more so Kliff using the top tier wide receivers talent to get open?
I think it's more of him. If he has a number one receiver, he will get the most out of that. But we've seen times where he needs to scheme stuff, and it'd be so frustrating. Like he'd be like 3rd and 7, and he'd have 3 5-yard curl routes on the field. And we're like, yeah, what's going on here, man? How are you picking up a first down here?
Yeah. Of course, when we look at the numbers, the rushing numbers versus the passing numbers, that's going to be one of the things that we talk about a lot over the next few months. And we kind of looked at the numbers, take away Kyler's rushing, and he had I can't think of their names right now.
The running backs?
Yes.
James Conner, Chase Edmonds.
There you go, Chase Edmonds. That's what I can't think of. James Conner, Chase Edmonds. I mean, he kind of revived Conner for sure. But it seemed like he started, running the ball more. Of course, he was hitting them in the open field, screens and different things like that. But how confident are you in Kliff compared to like running pass ratio? Where do you think it's going to kind of be at, even if he has a good running game?
Oh, I think that more or less depends on the defenses he goes against. Because in his division, they had the Rams that won the Super Bowl that year, and that was the year where they were just the like heaviest cover 4 team in the league. So if they have light boxes like that, they will gladly run like read option or inside zone type plays from shotgun and just pick up like their 5 to 6 yards. But if you have a team that like likes to stack the box, then he doesn't pass. Like he likes the favor to pass more often because you have better leverage for your receivers.
What's up, Troy?
Like personnel things.
What's up, Troy? What's up, Aaron? Appreciate you, man. Appreciate y'all for joining. George, Caleb, Justin, I see y'all in the chat. Appreciate y'all for coming through for sure. Ali, I see you. So, all right, let's get to Kliff at USC. Like I thought he was quarterback's coach, but I found out like a week ago he was just like an office assistant. I mean, I think he went to Thailand or whatever he did. Like what do you think, or do you know like what he was doing at USC, or just I don't
nah. I kept the one once he got to the NFL. Anything before NFL, that's
so like, all right, these 3 quarterbacks, have you had a chance to look at them? May,
I caught up on
Jaden. First, like, give me your rankings and tell me why for those 3 before we even get into Kliff and the Commanders.
Well, I think it depends on what you like value the most, because I don't think there's like a clear rankings, like because all offenses don't prioritize the same things. So a good decision maker, for example, doesn't matter Kingsbury offense. You don't need to be a good decision maker. You have to be accurate though.
Yeah.
Whereas some offenses,
Hold on. Say that again.
you don't have to be a high-end decision maker in a Kliff Kingsbury offense.
Okay.
Because if you have your number one, you can just throw it. That's not too much thought process. You just have to be good enough to pull the throw off.
Got you.
So I think Caleb's probably number one. And then if you want a decision maker, like a plus decision maker, you go Drake number two. And if you want someone who has play extension and like can play out of structure and run, then Jaden number two. But like Jaden and Drake is like the situation they go to matters more than how good they actually are.
Interesting. So is that your three? Is that how you rank it? Just you talking ball, because you like, that's one thing I like about you, Scorp. You could talk about any team, but just them three. Like, how do you look at them?
I look at those three as probably the top three. The next guy up will probably be like Bo Nix, if he can go to like a very good system, because he's a good first read guy from what I understand. And if the first read's not there, he can run, and we've seen that can work in the NFL. So.
All right. So which one of these guys do you think for us will fit Kliff's offense the best?
If you're going for fit, it's Jaden Daniels.
Why is that?
Has the accuracy outside the numbers, has the arm talent, which is necessary because you're going to be throwing speed out across the hash. And if you don't have the arm talent, that's a pick six. It's not something you can do. And Kliff likes to send out 5 routes a lot, so your quarterback has to buy time. He has to be good at that. If your quarterback isn't good at extending plays, he's either going to have to block the running back, which is just not going to make the concept as good, or you're just not going to be able to dance around and have people come open down the field.
Man, what's up, Garage? He like the comparison advantages of Caleb versus Daniels and Drake. Man, that's tough, man. Aaron said he knows what he's talking about. That's just interesting, bro. Like, I don't know if I should be concerned or not, because that seems like a lot of pressure on a rookie quarterback. And I mean, we saw it with Kyler. I think he'll be more detailed because he's not the head coach. But I think that concerns me a little, especially with the O-line we saw last year.
Yeah, he does like to send out 5 routes. And if you have guys out the backfield that can make people miss after they catch the ball, he will hit them the ball in space.
But okay, are those long developing routes, or are they tiered? Are they layered? How is his in that air raid offense? What does that look like? What does those route concepts look like?
Well, like I already said, he likes to attack the boundary. I don't know if that's more because Kyler couldn't see the middle of the field, or if like he doesn't have the concepts for it, but he likes to attack the outside. You'll see like flood concepts and dagger, like a lot of 3-man concepts on one side involve 3 people ending up on the same side of the field or one area, like mesh. And then he likes having the boundary ISO guy so he can work off of that. He does compress that sometimes. He did more when he lost D-Hop and they had Hollywood Brown as the number 1.
So let's go back to Arizona real quick. When Kyler got hurt, how did he run the offense with Colt McCoy?
It was a struggle bus. It was not pretty. Because Colt can't do the play extension stuff, so they have to block a running back. And he can't do the crazy like top 10 accuracy stuff, so they can't just repeatedly throw one-on-one contested passes. So they had to rely more on James Conner, and James Conner's a good enough running back that you can make it work. And like I think they got Rondell Moore and Andy Isabella like more touches in the short intermediate area, try to like have them make people miss. But like the explosive plays they had over the top or like on the boundary weren't there as much.
I think he's a free agent too. You think that's someone we might try to grab? Rondell Moore.
He's a free agent? He been league
Yeah, I think he is, because I was looking somewhere. Someone was like they would want to pick him up on another team.
I mean, he's good after the catch. His main problem was getting
double check.
Yeah, I thought he had 1 more year, but I might be wrong.
What round was he drafted in?
The 3rd, I want to say. I might be off. 2nd or 3rd. He wasn't the 2nd. I don't think it was 2nd. I think it's 3rd. I could be off though.
Yeah, so you just got finished with year 3.
Okay, yeah, he got one more year. Unless they cut him or something, but I don't see why they do that.
Yeah, 21, 22, 23. Yeah, so he's going into his fourth year. He was second round pick. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, he's fast.
Okay. All right. So I'm kind of thinking, yeah, that's something. Arm strength for those sprint outs, ability to extend plays, because we're not going to see much max protection.
He doesn't. He would like to send out 5 routes if he can.
Do you think? Okay, let me ask you this: Is he that stubborn that you think it'll be an issue if Dan Quinn doesn't want that type of, not that type of offense because he hired him because of the air raid, but to see a better variation of some, 3-man routes, maybe some, heavy protection, some 70 protection, sometimes some running heavy sets. Like, did he have any type of heavy sets or even just 3 wide receiver sets that was effective in the running game?
Oh, no, they were effective in the running game, but it was by virtue of like just spreading the defense out and taking people out the box. Because they would put 4 receivers from the field, and at that point, the defense has 1 linebacker in the box.
Yeah.
So like, if you do a read option, you have 5 offensive linemen for 3 or 4 defenders. Like, you can get up the field and run it that way.
So getting back to the top 3 rookie quarterbacks we've been kind of attached to, I think they all can run the offense. I think they all have, I think Jaden is the far better athlete for sure, but I think they all can kind of run a read option and be successful in it. Are you afraid of any one of those guys coming here and not being able to pick up the air raid offense?
It might be weird for Drake May, but Caleb, I should have said this earlier. I'm just assuming Caleb's going to number 1. I didn't even put him in the discussion.
Yeah.
I just assumed he was going number 1. If Caleb's there at number 2, go for it. Yeah. But Drake May has like the arm talent stuff, but he's not the most accurate guy in the world outside the numbers. He's still fairly accurate, but I'm not saying he's trash. But I think you'd worry about how much he can extend plays behind the line of scrimmage if you got Drake. And if he can do it, hey, more power to him. But, he doesn't have a high sample size and doing it at a high level in college.
How cerebral do you need to be for this offense?
Yeah. It doesn't stress decision-making because if you have your one-on-one, you throw it. And if they're doubling it, then that means that, like, if you have a trips to the other side, then they're guarding 3 receivers with 4 heads. And someone should win, like, on that route. And, like, if they're sending out the running back, which they do a lot, like, it's not as hard to see, oh, this person, like, I can ignore my entire concept on, like, 30% of my plays and just throw it one-on-one.
Good morning, Yam. You should be coming back soon. Yam, he supports all of our content creators over here, man. He's in Japan right now. I think he's coming back in March, I think.
That sounds fun.
So, I don't know, man. I don't know, man.
I mean, he could change.
I'm a little more concerned than what I was before I talked to you. I'm gonna be honest, because it's like it seems like it's all about the offense and not the talent or the players.
Well, I mean, y'all have the recipe for y'all have the number 1 that can win contested catches and win with separation, Terry. So y'all should see a career year and at least targets for Terry. Terry's going to get targets this year. He's going to get a lot of targets.
It's that offensive line.
Yeah. But
because if there are, layers to the route concepts, I'm not as concerned. But what? Okay, let me ask you this: what type of offense, what type of offensive lineman do we need? Do we need zone? Do we need agile? We need bulky? We need nimble, quick on their feet? Like, what type of offensive lineman do we need for this offense?
Mainly guys that can hold up in pass protection and that can move laterally quickly. Because, like, when they run, they did a lot of zone action, inside zone stuff. So, like, combo blocks getting to the second level. Like, for example, their center was Rodney Hudson. He's not the biggest guy, but he has good technique and he can move in space. So, like, that kind of O-lineman. You don't need, like, a a Mike Iupati mauling left guard type. Like, it's nice to have, sure, but like this, they need guys that can combo block and can hold up and pass pro, because you're going to get a lot of true pass pro reps with no play action off of it.
What's up, Hassan?
Or play action, of course.
What's up, Hassan? I think I pronounced it. I think I always butcher your name, bro. Yeah, DT, I don't know, man. They looking good.
What, like
that run pass ratio? Oh no. Way Scorpion.
No, he does run the ball. He does run the ball.
But is he run? But see, even running the ball, he's running out of like 4 wide. So is it more of a audible at the line, or is it more of a like a call?
In Arizona, he gave Kyler a good chunk of freedom to like change stuff up.
That's interesting.
Yeah, like Kyler was good, like pretty good, like with pre-snap identifying what the other team was going to do. So he gave him the freedom to like change people's routes on both sides of the field, audible to a run, et cetera, et cetera.
So did he have that during his rookie year?
I don't know if he had it during his rookie year, but he definitely had it at the start of his second year.
Yeah, interesting. I love that. I love that. All right, man. I don't know, man. I'm gonna go back and listen to this for sure. I do want you to come on, in a few weeks, man, on in the huddle, with DT, CeeLo, and Breeze to talk more about Kliff, because it just seems like a one-trick pony type offense. Like if you don't have that number one guy that can get downfield, that can win, the offense will stall and stall heavy. So that's what I'm concerned about.
Yeah, he wasn't shown to be the best adjuster when his guys were out, which, that's rough. Like the year they start off 9-0, they finished the season losing like 7 of the last 9.
Yeah, I'm a little concerned, man. I'm a little concerned now.
But like, if you had,
I know we got Terry, but
yeah, if you have
Terry go down, or I don't know.
But I think like from the groundwork, y'all have the receivers already. Mm-hmm. Y'all have, even if y'all like, I don't think y'all need to draft a quarterback, but if you do, like the quarterbacks are there that can do the things that y'all need for this offense. Like even Drake May, even if you get Drake May, he's still accurate enough and has enough arm talent to pull these things off. So, like, I feel like no matter what your quarterback play should be adequate between whatever rookie you get, or if you keep Sam.
All right. Look, I appreciate it. Terry, he got 2
more years?
2 more years on this. Yeah, 1 year. No, he has 3 more years. 3 more years. 3 more years. 3 more years. This past year was the first year of his new deal, so he has 3 more years.
Okay. Yeah, but I'd say,
all right, man.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I don't know who the patient is, but appreciate you for joining. Might be your first time. Definitely appreciate you coming on. Sam Howell is him.
Hey, I like Sam. I like Sam.
Yeah, I know you do. I know you like Sam, and I think he can run it too. But we'll see, man. That the middle of the field thing, I have concerns about. Yeah.
So hopefully it was a Kyler thing. If y'all get like Jaden Daniels or Drake May, Drake May can read the middle of the field. So
yeah, he moved and Daniels is tall enough. Caleb's 6 feet 6'1", whatever they want to say. So. Yeah. That's going to be interesting to see how that play out. But Scorpion, man, I definitely appreciate you for coming on, man. Thank you for joining. Like I said, man, we definitely going to reach back out in a few weeks to have you come back on, man. We definitely appreciate you stopping by. For sure, man. You want to put your tag out there for people to follow you?
My tag? Oh, and
you don't even know it, do you?
Yeah, I think it's Scorpion 61, I think. Hey, man.
Man, don't be a stranger. I haven't seen you in the spaces a little bit, man. Come back.
I got work now, man. I work at 4.
Oh man. You know we there all day though, man. I definitely appreciate you though, man.
Yeah. I'll pop in.
All right, man.
Pop in. Peace out, y'all.
All right, peace. All right, man. Thanks so much for Scorpion for joining us. Yeah. I'm a little, I don't know, man. I'm a little concerned. I mean, I wasn't all the way there anyhow with Kliff. And I thought Scorpion was gonna make me feel a little better, but I don't know, man. I think I'm even more concerned than what I was. Having those speed outs, having a strong arm for those speed outs. The run pass ratio is going. He loves to have 5 routes out there. We need a number one wide receiver that's dominant. The middle of the field had issues, and that could have been because of Kyler. we not sure, and you need to be extremely accurate. And this offense, he runs the ball out of those packages also. So and it just seems like if you have a dominant wide receiver, whatever concept you running on the strong side on the 3 wide receiver sets, it just like I don't know, man. I don't know. I'm a little concerned. But look, on the other side of this, we're gonna bring in Whit. We're gonna talk about our newly hired. I don't think it's I don't even know if it's official yet, but it probably is. Jason Simmons from the Oakland Raiders, defensive passing game coordinator. He'll give us some insight on him because I don't know anything about him. So I'm bringing on someone that does. So right after this, we're gonna bring in my man Whit from Whitville. Right after this, check out this new front office promo we got.
It's a great day for me, but what will be a better day will be when we get this team to a place where we're playing beyond the regular season, where we're competing for a championship.
Welcome back, Whit. What's good, man? Thank you so much for joining, man. Definitely appreciate you coming on.
What's up, bro?
It's good. How you doing, man?
Chilling, man. It's got work, you know.
Definitely appreciate you for joining, man. To kind of talk about Jason Simmons. Of course, we don't know too much about him, but before we go there, man, I mean, you know, we got to talk about the Super Bowl. So, give me your take on the Super Bowl, man. I mean, ain't your backyard, you know what I'm saying? Your house.
It was tough, man. Either way, I mean, those are like the 2 most hated teams. You know, our rivals, especially the Chiefs. And then San Francisco being the Bay, whereas when we was in Oakland, but now we in Vegas. But overall, besides that, man, it was a great game. One of the best Super Bowls I've witnessed. From it, you know, possibly going to second overtime, and then just the lead up of, you know, San Francisco starting out hot, the defense playing on all levels from the both sides. Kansas City starting out slow on offense, and then, you know, Brock Purdy, you know, shout out to him. He kind of showed the world that, you know, he belongs. But man, it was a great game. You know, can't doubt Mahomes. Mahomes is the GOAT. I'm sorry. And it's like he's 28 years old. Three Super Bowls, 28 years old. And you got guys,
5 of them.
and you got guys like Tom Brady playing to like 45, you know. So hey, he's not going anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. So yeah.
What do you think the 49ers did wrong?
The thing about it, so Dre Greenlaw was a blow for them early in the start, but their defense was still playing at a high level. Credit Steve Wilkes for having that defensive game plan on top of their game, and also when you only held Mahomes and the Chiefs to 19 points, you're supposed to win that game.
You're supposed to. You have to win.
Yeah. So earlier on, they had something going on in the first half. You know, with McCaffrey in the running game, get him, you know, and you know, in the game plan early, especially running, and also in the backfield. You saw flashes of Ayuk, but I think the thing in the second half is that kind of got away from that game plan of still running the ball. Like, granted, you're up 7 points. You know, the defense is still playing good. You got to keep letting Chris McCaffrey and Elijah Mitchell.
He should have had 35 carries.
Yeah, he should have had. I mean, it's the last game.
Elijah should have had like 10.
Yeah, it's when to go home. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You use McCaffrey, he gets winning. That's you put in Elijah Mitchell. You put Elijah Mitchell in, you keep running the ball. And I feel like they should have incorporated George Kittle more. I mean, Debo, he came off with that hamstring injury, but he came back in. And it's like, you know, credit to the Chief defense. The Chief defense is
It was locked in.
Yeah, especially their corners. Yeah, but they just had. I think, bro, like were talking about it earlier today, man. They started out with 6 straight passes. Like, you got to run the ball. You got to continue to
third
run the
quarter.
ball.
Yeah.
And, you know,
I think the first 3 drives they had 2 carries. I think something
Yeah.
like that. Some crazy
you
number
got to keep
like
running
that.
the ball, man. Wear that defense out and just drain that clock. Because that was the game where you should have, just kept running the ball and just played possession of the ball. Because you already, you had slight momentum and you had the lead. So you drain the clock, you just get points on the board, you score, and now you put in Mahomes and them back on the wall to instead of them having to go for 3 points, they have to go for a touchdown or had to get a touchdown and 2-point conversion. However, it would have went if they just kept running the ball.
Yeah, it's crazy, man. Jason Simmons, man. I think he's been with you all for a couple years.
Mm-hmm.
What is that? Because it varies from team to team with these passing game, running game coordinator roles mean or whatever. But before we get into that, when you all first hired and brought him on, what type of coach is he? Like, what type of character is he? A arms folded guy? Is he a up and down the sidelines type guy? Like, what type of coach is he?
Simmons is a player's coach. Players are gonna love him. He has experience playing in the league. I think he played in the league for 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And also after that, he was an assistant for Green Bay for it was 10 years. Then he went to the Panthers for a couple of years, and then he came to us. So everywhere he's been, he's had success, especially in the secondary. Him first coming over here, it was like, hopefully our defense would improve. Because we always had the bottom 5 defense. That was the downfall of the Raiders. But it's like that first year with Patrick Graham and that defense, it was like, it was looking kind of sketchy at first, but then the later part of the season, that's when they started picking momentum and started picking up their slack, and they had to let the offense, pick up their slack so we could win games. So I think it's going to be a process, but he's a great coach, and he has a proven track record wherever he's been.
How is he with player development, specifically younger players? Because we have a very young defensive secondary, and of course we have Forbes, and we all know the story about his rookie year. Yeah. Where is he with rookie development?
He's big on rookie development. I mean, just going back on his proven track record, he came from Carolina, and that's when you had C.J. Henderson. They brought in C.J. Henderson from Jacksonville. They had Dante Jackson. They had J.C. Horn. They had Jeremy Chin when he was healthy. So, he, especially with our cornerback room last year, it was a whole bunch of depth guys that we signed that year because we had to, was picking off the slack of Mayock and Gruden and them tearing down the roster. So we had to go to that route. We had to pick up young guys, undrafted free agents, guys that didn't have a shot just to fill that roster out. So the guys that we brought in 2022, like I said, the later part of that season, they improved, and we saw that growth going into this season as well too. I'm just reading something. So from 2020 to 2021, the Panthers secondary ranked 4th in the NFL, 192 passing yards per game. And Panthers had the lead second ranked defense in terms of yards allowed last season, without giving the 4th fewest passing yards. When I say last season, I meant the 2021 season.
Yeah,
the Panthers. And then coming to us with the Raiders, he was a passing game coordinator, and also he was a secondary coach. He had the same position in Carolina to Vegas, and in that 2022 season, we ranked 28th in total defense, 29th in pass defense, 19th in run defense, and 26th in scoring defense. But we only had 27 sacks. So when you have the front 4, that generates a whole lot of turnovers for your cornerbacks and your safeties and stuff like that. So it just directly correlates.
Yeah, most definitely. Trust me, I know.
And y'all have it. So
yeah. Does he have any input on the day-to-day as far as playing style or as he called plays during a preseason game or anything like that you know of?
I think Simmons. I think he had the opportunity to do that coaching development program.
Okay.
The Senior Bowl.
The Senior Bowl, yeah.
Yeah, because Graham was the head coach last year. I think for the national team. So I think he was over there. He was a coordinator, and he possibly would have got some coordinator experience, possibly in the preseason. But he's Graham's guy, so I think that he does have some input as far as like the play installment and you know what I'm saying, different looks that they might see on the offensive side for their defensive side as well too. So yeah, I do agree.
What type of like person are we getting? Is he someone that's in the you have some coaches that just that like the attention. You got some coaches that's laid back. I mean, how has he like press conference and stuff like that? Because man, we trying to repair over here, man. Like we're a little fragile over here, man. Like we don't need no wild cards.
Yeah, I mean, like I say, he's a player coach. He's very reliable, very laid back. But he's kind of like when you look at different clips and the press conference, it seemed like the guys buy into him. They like playing for him. So especially when we got that news that we were losing Simmons, like I was like, oh my gosh, like
yeah, that's what I was going to ask. How was the fan player reactions?
Yeah, like I mean, it was like damn, like we hired two guys, like we hired a Jets secondary coach, play safeties. Like we brought in guys, this all season to what I'm saying, to fill those different gaps that we lost, when we got rid of McDaniels and all that stuff. But we was like, we're gonna be straight. Like we building a great staff because we got Simmons and we bring these two guys over. And then when we brought those two guys over, then saying Simmons is interviewing with y'all. He's got a request in for the Giants, and he's like, damn, we about to lose Simmons. And then we got the news that he's going to y'all. So it was like, damn, they getting the good one. So yeah.
Why you think he took the same position? Like why you think Coach Pierce let him go?
Because I think he
I know he brought in a coordinator and
that's not Antonio's guy. That was McDaniel's guy. Gotcha. And at the same time, he was under Pat Graham, and Pat Graham, even though he's going to be retained as a defensive coordinator because he's proven the past 2 years that the system works for our personnel, he still wasn't Pierce's guy. And Pierce wanted to bring in his guys, and which each coach should do when they taking over a team. So, I mean, I think that eventually he's going to be a defensive coordinator. I mean, because that's proven track record, going from Green Bay and experience Green Bay, Carolina, Vegas. So it might be the next step with y'all.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to. We're going to see, man. We're going to see, man, for sure, man. But yeah, man, that's, I do appreciate you for coming on, man. Give us some insight into Jason Simmons, because a lot of us ain't know nothing about him. But I do want to actually, just kind of think about it in the next, month or so, like pre-draft, post-draft, if you won't mind coming back on to just talk about the Raiders. I like doing all around the NFL, just get the scoop on all the teams, man. You be willing to come back on, man. We definitely gonna reach out.
Yeah, most definitely.
All right, yeah, man. Appreciate you, Whit, man, for coming on, man. You got anything you working on? The handle you want to drop? Because it ain't many Raiders fans on in our world on Twitter Spaces, man. It ain't a lot.
I mean, you'll be surprised.
Unless y'all got Spaces.
We do, but it started wilding over this AP stuff. Okay. So I just cut that stuff out. I was like, when
I remember a Warzone one dude used to do. I think he called it Warzone or something like that. It should be like real late at night.
Yeah. But,
yeah. Okay.
I mean, everybody can follow me at Whittville, WHIT, all platforms. You be on the lookout, stuff going on close to the combine. My whole Spaces or YouTube on the combine, free agency, draft as well too. So, I mean, that's where you'll find me at. I mean, I pop in y'all Spaces, from time to time too. So, yeah, that's where you can find me at.
Bet. Definitely appreciate you, man.
Appreciate you, bro.
All right. Peace.
All right.
Yeah, man, we definitely appreciate Whit coming to give us some background on Jason Simmons. He's a good hire. Good hire, man. I'm excited about him. But we got look, we just added boxing. So let me put up this boxing promo, and then on the other side of this, I'm just gonna talk just a couple minutes about that number 2 pick.
Hey, what up, you guys? It's your boy, DW. Super fired up about some brand new boxing content coming your way. Redzone Roadwork Boxing, hosted by a fan favorite, Miss Lady E. A bunch of us sharp, opinionated folks are going to get on here, and we're going to hash it out with our pound-for-pound list and favorite knockouts, fights we're looking forward to. Shows will be before the big event, during, live, and post wrap-up to see who was right, who was wrong, and who just had a good time, right? Can't wait.
Welcome back. I was going to talk a little bit about the number 2 pick, quarterback or tackle. That's to be a debate, trade back, whatever. That's kind of debate with us, but I think I'm going to table it for a week or so. I'm gonna come back, talk to more in depth about where I am on that position and where we should go. I'm going to do it before the combine. I think the combine is February 29th or 26th. I'm going to do it before the combine because I'm sure a lot of takes is going to change after the combine. Mine is so. And also let you know how I feel about the combine, right? But we did hire Bobby Johnson, offensive line coach, previously with the New York Giants, that was fired. And it's been a lot of bad reviews. We look through the comments. Even when he was in Buffalo, we looked through some of the fans saying he wasn't good. They got better after he left. So it's a lot of bad reviews out there. And just looking at his stops and just kind of doing like a quick check. He's been to a lot of places on minimum amount of years. I don't know if he's getting fired, promoted to other places, or whatever case may be. But this is the hire. Like, we're not going to agree with every hire Dan Quinn and Adam Peters make. We're not going to agree with every draft pick. As much as we want to, we're just not going to agree. So I'm going to take this one and I'm going to charge it to Dan Quinn. And I'm going to say I'm going to lean on Dan Quinn for this one. I'm going to trust that he hired the right person. But what it does do, it runs, or it leads back into the redemption team, right? Somebody that was cast off, someone that was fired, someone that was said wasn't good at his job, so. Like this, it does add to that narrative if you want to play that narrative. But we're not going to do that now with the number 2 pick. We just talked to Scorpion about Kliff Kingsbury. I'm a little more concerned than what I was before I talked to him, but I'm highly excited about Jason Simmons. I think he's going to do a lot and bring a lot to this team, just in case we still don't get Al Harris. I still got a little hope because I don't know what Dallas is going through. It was reported that they was going to get Mike Zimmer. Doesn't look like they're going to get Mike Zimmer, or they may get Mike Zimmer, but then Rex Ryan might still be in the mix. So I don't know what's going on over there until something is official. Either way, I would love to have Al Harris on this staff, also on defensive staff with Joe Whitt and Dan Quinn. But I appreciate all your time for you joining, spending your time with me. Definitely appreciate it. Remember, do it because you love it, not because it loves you. One beat, one sound, one heart.